From the week of November 14th to the 21st, the Castlevania Anniversary Collection is free on the Epic Games Store for gamers to pick up and play. This collection shows the beginnings of the franchise, which is the second half of the Metroidvania genre's name. In most of these games, however, the objective is clear. Find the Dark Lord Dracula and show that monster he does not belong in this world. Starting up the game, you are met with a selection of 8 classic titles across the Castlevania franchise, each putting the player into the Belmont clan's family shoes and asks you to take your whip and Morningstar to the enemies of humanity. Each game on this menu is its own adventure, with many of the mechanics and controls being consistent throughout the collection. The gameplay of the Castlevania franchise follows a member of the Belmont clan traversing through the depths of various castles and dungeons laid out to stop you by any means necessary. And believe me, they will stop you once or twice. Each of the games, as mentioned previously, share much of the same control scheme, and for the ones that don't, there is usually a safe starting area so you can learn the different controls. In each of the games, the player is moving throughout the levels with their trusty whip by their side. This is your primary means of defense against the undead hordes, either by having enemies drop them or breaking the candles in the background. However, power-ups can be obtained to give the player equipment items or whip upgrades as they play. Note that any upgrades or items acquired throughout the level are lost on death or game over. These items range from throwing axes to time-stopping watches that freeze enemies in their place. Throughout the games, players expected to be able to clear each level in a varying number of lives that, once depleted, thankfully only restarts the level on a game over instead of restarting the games like some games of the era were known to do. In each of these levels, the player is asked to platform and fight their way, avoiding taking damage or falling into the pits until the end, where a boss lies in wait. These bosses can range from flying vampire bats to even giant possessed suits of armor. Throughout each level, while there are some healing items, they are rare, and normally once you take damage, you have that damage on you until you either die or finish the stage. For most of the games that are present in this collection, pixelated art style is used. While this art style isn't the most graphically stunning, for the time it stood out when each of these games were released. Music, likewise, is reminiscent of old-school era gaming, such as the original Mega Man games, with chiptune tracks being used for each game in stage setting, with each stage having its own unique track. Overall, I found that the collection was a good experience that is suited for those that either want to experience the nostalgia of the older generation of games or wish to experience it for the first time themselves. It is certainly worth a try should you have gotten it for free on the Epic Games Store, and if you're a fan of the franchise even after the sale ended. Until next time, thank you for visiting the Gamer House.